of our fallen position that we have, that's our qualification for mercy. Mosamo patita prabhu nahi tri bhuvani. In fact, he says, in all the three worlds, you won't find anyone who's as fallen as me. Dante trina dori Gaura daki he tomar. So I'm calling out your name, as I mentioned a few nights ago. Dante trina, with straw in my teeth. And as we mentioned one meaning of that, one meaning is that I'm not speaking, it's not from the lips, it's from the heart. Does anybody not have a song sheet? You can raise your hand. Or if you want to take one with you, you can also raise your hand for that. Okay. So Dante Trinadhori Gaura Daki He Tomar. He's a Daki in Bengali means to call out. It also means to call out in a very familiar, sweet kind of way. Just like Dak, there's an expression in Ariya in Bengal. Someone has a Dak Nam. There was one devotee who used to work for us, and I don't remember his name, his legal name, but we used to call him Bideshi. But he was a Deshi. For those of you who don't know Hindi, he was a local person, but Deshi means local, Bideshi means foreigner. Bideshi was his Dak Nam. Why? Because he was born in a small village, and in that village, all the children were born in the village. He was the first child who was born at the hospital outside the village. And so they called him Bideshi, foreigner. And that was his Dak Nam. So Daki He Tamar, his Dak means also to call out. Daki He, I'm calling out to you, but in a very familiar way. Daki He Tamar, what do you want then? Kripa Koru Esho Amar Hridoya Mandire. That I want you to come and reside in my heart. I want my heart to become your temple. I want to offer this heart to you. Not just a big project, some external thing, but I want to start with the heart. And then Chaitanya, then Narottam Das Thakur becomes perhaps a little apprehensive. He thinks, oh, I'm telling him the truth. It's like if you go for a job interview and they ask you, what is your qualification? And you tell them, well, to be really honest with you, I'm the most useless person in all the three worlds. It's probably not a good idea, right? For a job interview. So perhaps Narottam is thinking then, if I tell him the truth, then maybe he's not going to give mercy. So then he threatens the Lord. Jaridoya na koribe, patita dekiya. The patita dekiya, when you see how fallen I am, maybe you'll think, why should I give him mercy? There's so many other people who are more qualified. Why should we give him mercy? There's so many people who are approaching me, asking for mercy. Many are more qualified than him. Jari means if. Jari doya. You don't want to give this doya, this mercy, not koribe, patita dekiya. Therefore, if you do that, then Narottam threatens him, we'll have to change your name. Patita pavana nama kishera lagiya. Otherwise, how is it that you're called Patit Pavan? It's bogus, it's a lie. Because Mosamo Patita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvani, in all the three worlds, there's no one as fallen as I. So how are you Patit Pavan if you don't deliver me? We'll have to change your name. Your name is Shrestha Pavan. You're the deliverer of the exalted persons, but you're not Patit Pavan. So then perhaps Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, you'll get some mercy. Stand in the queue. And you look at the queue, and the queue is going all the way from Ottawa, Canada, to Mayapur, West Bengal. It's a long queue. And Narottam Das Thakur says, I can't wait in the queue. Podechi bhavat tufani, nahika nistar. He said that I'm drowning. I'm in the middle of the ocean, and there's a great typhoon, and the waves are bashing me, and I see no hope. I'm going to die. So, Podechi bhavat tufani, nahika nistar. That Sri Charanadhani Kori, Dasi Koropar, you give me the boat of your lotus feet, make me your servant, and give me the boat of your lotus feet. So then perhaps Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to him, okay, you can get on the boat, but do you have a ticket? Because if you don't have a ticket, how can you get on the boat? So Narottam Das Thakur says, yes, I have a very good ticket. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasiranu Dasa. My ticket is my Gurudev. My ticket is that I'm the servant of your servant. That's my ticket. Pratana Koro Ye Sada Narottamo Dasa. And Pratana, this is the appeal that Narottam Das Thakur is making. And he says, Pratana Kore Sada. Sada, I'm always calling out like this, not just on weekends or once a week or for 1 hour a day, but constantly calling out like this. A very nice song. Shri Guru Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Simradanga Kartos. Pancha Kopacharubyas Chabolo. Pancha Kopacharubyas Sindhu Devacha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Karuna Koro Amidina Hinajane Gauranga Karuna Koro Amidina Hinajane Mosomo Pachita Prabhu Dori Gaura Jaki He Tomara Dante Chena Dori Gaura Jaki He Tomara Karuna Koro Samo Patita Prabhu patita dekhiya. Doya na koribe patita dekhiya. Oh, patita dekhiya. Patita pavana nama kishera ladiya. Patita pavana nama kishera ladiya. Oh, kishera ladiya. All together, bolo. Gauranga karuna bolo. Amina. Bhava tufane nahi kanistaya. Horikshi bhava tufane nahi kanistaya. Chaitanya Prabhu Dasiranu Dasa. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasiranu Dasa. Again, please. Gauranga Karuna Gaura. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga Karuna Koro, Ami Jina Nina Jana. Gauranga Karuna Koro, Ami Jina Nina Jana. Gaura hai, Gaura hai, Gaura Jai Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram, Jai Jai Nitai, Jai Gaura, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaura. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shiva Prabhupada Ki. Shri Shiva Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Shri Premdata Nityananda Prabhu Ki. Shri Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki. Bolo Giriraj Maharaj Ki. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Giri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki. Shri Purushottam Keta Vipalamba Keta Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Shri Madhujara Saganaiti Murti Mahabhav Prakash Jagannath Swami Ki. Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Shri Mati Subhadra Mai Sudarshan Guru Ki. Gopremanandi Hari Hari Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What time do I need to finish by? 7?
I think it's possible to go to 7:30.
7:30? Okay, that'd be great. I can do that. So I just asked the boss.
Boss is there.
The secondary boss. About the time. So I should check with the devotees also, because this is a group effort. Well, it's not just a singular thing. So we came really late tonight, I'm sorry, due to some unavoidable circumstances. And we're supposed to finish in half an hour. I'll probably warm up by then. He's suggesting maybe we could go to 7:30. So is that okay? If anybody needs to leave earlier, go ahead and do that. We understand tomorrow's a work day and school day for kids and things, so as you need. Gaura Graganya Gana Go to Golaruharam Gauranga Gudatama Gopyada Kopa Briksham Gopala Gada Ratidam Yati Singha Gaura Govinda Deshi Kavaram Satatam Namami. Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachira Jachiya Dileka Kola Kahe Premananda Emona Gauranga Hridaya Dariya Bola Bhaja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gaurangera Namare Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Hoy Amara Pranare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Yashaiva Padambu Jabhakti Labhya Prema Bidana Parama Pumata Tismai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Madhapi Gavi Gopala Sri Kuryat Kripaya Jadita Daiva Sampaya Pita Risha Yusta Priya Janaha Shri Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Sasanatana Rupaka Gopala Raghunatha Brajabala Bapahimam Panchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giradha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the title we gave to our discussion this evening we've called Gaura Lila is still going on today. And that's a very, very relevant thing for all of us. There has to be some relevance in each of our own lives for the things that we're reading about, the things that we're chanting about. If it's too theoretical, if it's too much separated from us, then it just becomes some kind of mechanical religion. And therefore, Krishna, he says in Bhagavad Gita, that Raja Vidya, this understanding of him is the king of all understandings, Rajaguyam, the most confidential. And he says that Pratyek Savagamam, it's meant to be practically realized. And if we do that, then Susukam Kartam Avyayam, we have so much happiness. So Krishna consciousness, as Srila Prabhupada pointed out many times, is not actually a religion. And he wrote a letter in 1968, one of my favorite things to cite, to the then Governor General of Canada. And in that letter, Srila Prabhupada described the nature of his society, and he said that ISKCON is a non-sectarian movement, and anyone can join it. And he said, in our movement, we have members who are coming from Christian backgrounds, and Hindu backgrounds, and Sikh backgrounds, and Muslim backgrounds. And he said, and they can keep their respective religion and still practice Krishna consciousness. I always appreciated that thought, but I didn't really understand it so much until we started going to Uzbekistan. And you see some of the ladies coming, and the men with a tagi on a Muslim cap, and they're doing their daily prayers and things. It's for them, it's not possible to give up their religion. And for many people, the religion is their family. And it's not necessary. In Krishna consciousness, we simply add something else. The purpose of this movement, Srila Prabhupada went on to say, is to teach people how to love God. And for that, we want something which is practical. We want to offer people something which is relevant for all of us. So I'd like to read you something from a purport of Srila Prabhupada's. So our time's a little short, I'll be a little quick with it. From Madhya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 11, text number 89. Listen carefully. Prabhupada writes, one who is intelligent understands that all the personal associates and devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are ever liberated. This means that because they are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, they do not belong to this material world. One who's engaged in the Lord's devotional service 24 hours daily and never forgets the Lord is called Nitya Siddha. A devotee is always thinking of how better to serve Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how to broadcast his name, fame, and qualities throughout the world. One who is a Nitya Siddha has no business other than broadcasting the glories of the Lord all over the world according to his ability. Such people are already associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur says, Nitya Siddha Korimani. One should not think that because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present 500 years ago, only his associates were liberated. Rather, Srila Narottam Das Thakur says that anyone is a Nitya Siddha if he acts on behalf of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by spreading the glories of the holy name of the Lord. I'll read that again. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says that anyone is a Nitya Siddha if he acts on behalf of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by spreading the glories of the holy name of the Lord. We should respect those devotees preaching the glories of the Lord as Nitya Siddha and should not consider them conditioned. Just out of curiosity, I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you here consider yourself to be a Nitya Siddha? how many of you here consider yourself to be liberated? But Prabhupada says, and you're doing preaching on behalf of Mahaprabhu, perhaps we should give some explanation to these statements of Prabhupada. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has described, Ajapiya Chaitanya e Shaba lila kori, Jakone jahari kori, Jushti ari kari bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Ajapiya means right now. It means right here in Ottawa. Ajapiya Chaitanya Shaba Lila Kori. All the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are going on right now, right here. And he says that Jakone Jahari Kori, Dristi Adhikari. There's someone who's very fortunate. Dristi Adhikari. That person can see those pastimes even today. Let me see another show of hands. Is there anybody here who would like to see the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Raise your hand. This is our desire, and actually this is the purpose of this movement. And therefore Krishna says, Pratyak Savagamam Dharmyam. That this Dharma is meant to be practically realized. Otherwise, if it's only theoretical, then we end up arguing with each other and trying to insist that the elephant is like a wall. And some of our friends says, no, the elephant is like a rope. And we end up having a big quarrel. So we've been contemplating this point for some time. And I'd like to tell you a story that's not so well known that I found very, very relevant from a book. Actually, it's a parishishta of a book, the Narottam Vilas. Narottam Vilas is a book written by Narahari Chakravarti Thakur. And later on, one of Narahari's disciples wrote a parishishta. Parishishta means an appendix, something you add to the book at the end. And that appendix was called Narahari Vishesha Parichaya, or some topics about Narahari Chakravarti. And so, very nice story that he tells there. That Narahari Chakravarti, he grew up always hearing about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Narahari Chakravarti Thakur, his guru, was Nrsimha Chakravarti. And Narahari's father was Jagannath Chakravarti, who was a disciple of Vishwanath. When I heard this, and I heard how Narahari Chakravarti, as he was growing up, he was always hearing stories about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Narahari began to feel really bad. Why? Everybody else had this association, but I didn't. I could really relate to that. Because I first started going to the LA Temple. I came to the LA Temple in 1982. It was about 5 years after Srila Prabhupada had left. And we used to go and chant japa in Prabhupada's room. And you can see in the videos Prabhupada walking in that room. And we used to go to Chevy Hills Park, where Prabhupada walked. And he would take us to Venice Beach, where Prabhupada walked. And there were programs, and all the devotees were always talking about Srila Prabhupada. And I would sometimes think, well, that's very good for you. It's very good for Gaura Prabhu. You got to meet Srila Prabhupada. But for those of us who didn't ever get to do that, it's a little painful. So, similarly, Narahari Chakravarti Thakur, he was always hearing about Vishwanath. And he was feeling very, very sad. And one day, one devotee, Lakshman Das, he began speaking about the glories of Narottam and Srinivas, Ramachandra Kaviraj, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and other devotees. And then Lakshman Das, he mentioned to Narahari that there was a prediction made. And do you know, these great devotees, they predicted you. they said that soon there will be someone appear whose name will be Narahari Ganesham. Ganesham was another name for Narahari Chakravarti. And that this Narahari, he would write many books about Prem Bhakti. And he would establish Prem Bhakti throughout the world. And that's you. And when Narahari Chakravarti heard that, try to understand the heart of a Vaishnava. And a materialistic person would become delighted and say, yes, that's me. And develop, as we said last night, the attitude of entitlement. But Narahari Chakravarti, when he heard that, he became ashamed. And he bowed his head down. And he began to cry. Because it pierced his heart. He thought to himself, I've not come here to get some praise. I'm such a rascal. Such an exalted person saying nice things about me. And not only that, he's saying that these very exalted devotees were speaking about me. And it opened his heart. And Narahari Chakravarti began to cry. Oh hey Vishvambar, oh Patit Pavan Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where are you? Oh Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, Srinivas, Narottam, Shamananda, Vishwanath, where have you gone? And why have I taken birth at this very inauspicious time? What kind of birth have I taken? I haven't been able to witness your pastimes. And who am I going to hear then from about the wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We're very fortunate because we get to hear about Srila Prabhupada from Niranjan Maharaj and Lakshminath Prabhu and Gaura and other senior devotees who got to see Srila Prabhupada. And it's not just from some historical point of view, but what our desire is we want to understand their heart, because Srila Prabhupada touched their hearts and changed their lives, and they've dedicated themselves to him. So by hearing from them, we're not interested just to gather some information, but we want to collect the feelings that they have for him. So Narahari was crying, why I can't hear from those devotees, those personal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who got to see his pastimes and were interacting with him. All I want to do, I want to hear constantly from Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. He's thinking like this, not just that there's some historical persons and I offer some official prayers, but they're real, they're alive. And I want to hear from them. And he says, I feel as though a spear has been shoved into my heart. I've been cheated from their lotus feet. So this discussion was going on at the Govindaji Mandir in Vrindavan. Raise your hand if any of you have been to the Govindaji temple in Vrindavan. Okay. So Narahari, at that time, he started pouring out his heart and feeling so much separation from these exalted devotees. He began to cry and weep. And he started rolling on the ground. And he rolled on the ground all the way from the Govindaji Mandir to the temple of Gopishwar Mahadev. Now, how many of you have been to the temple of Govindaji and Gopishwar Mahadev? If you're walking quickly, probably at least a 15-minute walk. Yeah, and he was rolling on the ground the whole way. And all the different symptoms of Asasatyakara Bhav manifested in his body. And finally he just lay there unconscious. And all the Vaishnavas gathered around him while he was laying there at the entranceway to the temple of Gopishwar Mahadev. And then suddenly, in his ecstasy, he saw Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Vishwanath appeared to him and he said, my dear son, Narahari, He said, why are you lamenting? Why are you crying so much? Don't you see? Don't you see? Right here. All of our lordships are present here. See? There's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And there's Gadadhar and Advaita and Srivas. And you see Shyamananda and Srinivas and Ramachandra and Gadadhar and Pundarik Vijayanidhi and Haridas Thakur and Mukunda and all the devotees of the Lord. They're all present there. They're all dancing in Sankirtan. And there, do you see, on the left side, there's your Gurudev, Nrsimha Chakravarti. And he's dancing with them. And then Vishwanath gave him a chamara. Nara Hari Hari Kori Chamara Dulaya. I think it was written about another Narahari, but still. And Narahari Chakravarti began to fan those associates of the Lord. And as he was fanning them with that chamara, tears were gushing from his eyes, and his whole body became soaking wet from his tears, and he felt great intense pain of ecstasy in his heart. And suddenly, Lord Nityananda was dancing in the kirtan, and suddenly he noticed this fellow crying and waving the chamara. And Nityananda stopped, and he pointed at Narahari, and he asked Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where did you find him? Who is he? And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur took Nrsimha Thakur's hand, the guru of Narahari, and he said that, my Lord, he's a servant of this servant, so he's your own humble servant. And Nityananda Prabhu, then he laughed, oh, he's from Ramachandra Kaviraj's group, because Narahari Chakravarti, Nrsimha Chakravarti Thakur, they were in that line of Ramachandra Kaviraj. And he said, this Narahari, he's a fountain of Krishna Prem. And then Lord Nityananda, he took a hold of Narahari and he made him grab the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here, you take shelter at this place. And then Gauranga Mahaprabhu picked him up and handed him to Advaita Acharya. He said, here, you take him. And Advaita Acharya said, I'm no one. Gadadhar, he's an ocean of prem. You should go to Gadadhar. And Gadadhar Pandit took him and said, don't make fun of me. Don't be ridiculous. You should roll on the ground and grab the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur. And Srivas Thakur, he said, no, Rupa and Sanatan. You're distributing bhakti to all. You take him. And Rupa and Sanatan took him, and then Rupa and Sanatan gave him to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami gave him to Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami gave him to Srinivas Acharya. Srinivas Acharya gave him to Ramachandra Kaviraj, who passed him down the parampara until finally they brought him back to his own guru, Nrsimha Chakravarti. And then his Gurudev, Nrsimha Chakravarti, took him by the hand and brought him to Lord Nityananda. And then Lord Nityananda, he said the following, Nityananda bole ebi bhai lama suk, na dekhi ami guru vimukera muk. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Lord Nityananda, he said, Ebi, now, Ebi means now, Pai Lama Suk, now I'm very happy. Before, I wasn't completely sure. Nadekiye, I won't see. Nadeki Ami, I won't look at the face of anyone who Guru Vumukera Muk, who's averse to the lotus feet of their Guru. If someone doesn't give respect to their Gurudev, I won't see their face. Vimuke se dure taka, sange nahi janra, mora e Prabhupada na paye se chara. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He says, Vimuke se dure taka. There's such a vimuki, such a person who's very envious, such a person who's averse to his Gurudev. Se duritaka, sangi nahi janra. He stays very far away from our sangha. We don't allow him inside. He says, Mora e Prabhupada, napai se char. Such a rascal. He'll never get the lotus feet of my Prabhu, my Prabhupada. Such a person who's Guru Vimukya, who's averse to the lotus feet of their Guru, they'll never attain Prabhupada. Guru Anandare Eka Jura Chara Hoila Mora Vida Deki Oe Tare Toya Dila Bolo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna He said, someone, Guru Anandari Ekadurachari Hoila, someone who disrespects his Guru, he becomes a Durachari. He becomes a wicked rogue. Moravira Deki. He said, you see, Moravira, my potency, my strength. Oi Tari Toya Gila. I reject such a person, Lord Nityananda says. So, then at that time, Lord Nityananda, again, he caught a hold of Narahari and he said, now you're going to be punished. We want the punishment of Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda grabbed him by the hair and he shoved his head down on the ground and put his head on the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is your punishment. And then at that time, Gauranga Mahaprabhu smiled and laughed and he said, hey Narahari, tell me, what do you see now? And then suddenly everything disappeared. The Gopishwar Mahadev temple disappeared and the Panchatattva and all the associates of Mahaprabhu disappeared. And now he saw Vamsivat, which is right next to the Gopishwar Mahadev temple. And he saw a wonderful throne, and there was a sandy beach, and the Jamuna River, and so many wonderful Kalikadamba trees. He saw Vrindavan, and he saw Sri Sri Radha and Krishna surrounded by all the cowherd boys and gopis and cows and peacocks. And he saw Srimati Radharani was seated on a throne, and Krishna was kneeling in front of her with folded hands. A very amazing vision. And Krishna was telling Radharani, hey Radhe, please be merciful to me. Please give me your bhav. Give me your feelings. Give me your emotions. And if you give me that, O Vrindavan Rani, then I'll sport along with all the devotees in Prem Sankirtan. And I'll chant the names. I'll do kirtan. And I'll roll on the ground in ecstasy. When Srimati Radharani heard this, she became very restless. And she grabbed Krishna's hand, and she held Krishna's hand very firmly in her lap. And she said, hey Prananath, hey Lord of my life, what do you want with the mood, with the bhav of this miserable lady? What wonderful thing could you possibly find in the feverish emotions that I have? She said, besides, you don't understand the nature of my feelings. If even for one moment I can't see you, I feel like a thunderbolt has struck me on the head. If you go away, I just stand motionless, staring down the path where you were. If I can't see you, then only Lalita understands what situation I fall into at that time. And then Lalita, she told Krishna, listen Krishna, Radharani, her eyes, they dance just like a wag-tailed bird. And you're very mystified and captivated by the playful movements of her eyes. What can I say? about the mood of Radharani. Anyone who says that Radharani's bhav, her mood, can be expressed in words, what can I say about such a fool? That person is trying to depict an ocean by the water in a calf's hoof print. All that I can say is that whenever you're not present, I'm the one who somehow or other has to take care of Radharani. And then Shyam Roy, Krishna, he smiled and he said, "Hey Lalita, listen, I'm pleading with you. You please give me Radha Bhav and help me to repay my debt." Because Krishna says to the gopis, "Naparyeham nidavedya samyajam sasadu krityam vibudaya sapiva yamabhajam durjaya geha shrinkalayasam vichdayatad vipratiyatu sadhana." He tells the gopis that although I've promised yegatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham, my solemn promise is that I always reciprocate with however a devotee approaches me. You've defeated me. I don't know how to approach you. I don't know how to repay you because you don't want anything. The gopis, all the gopis want, they want to please Krishna. How do you repay someone when all they want is to please you? A hint is given. In the end of the verse, he says, "Yapratiyatu sadhuna." Let your own activities, your own sadhuna, be your glory. And to glorify them, glorify their sadhuna, he came and performed the sadhana, or the behavior of the gopis. When Radharani heard Krishna's words, Premamoyi Radha, she took the other hand of Krishna and she said, "Listen, Hari, how will you tolerate? If you adopt my mood, my bhav, so many painful conditions will come during that Sankirtan." She said, "You just hold this hard soul of mine in a tight embrace. And when you're rolling on the ground, at that time my body will hold your body. Otherwise, how will your soft body, which is so soft, it's like makhan, like butter, soft butter, how will your body be able to tolerate rolling on the ground with the stones and different things? So, you let my body cover yours." And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has described this, that Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam, Nomi Krishna Sarupam, that Krishna has come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani is on the outside. Her complexion is there. On the inside is Krishna. So at that time Shyam Sundar Krishna replied, listen Praneshwari Radhe, by doing this thing, by taking your mood, I'll freely distribute the sweetness of nectar of our prem even to the most sinful persons. And then Narahari, he's watching all this. It's much better than television. Narahari Chakravarti is watching all this going on. And suddenly then he saw Radha and Krishna become one as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then, again, that pastime disappeared. And he saw Navadvip Lila. The same devotees, the same gopis and cowherd boys were there, but now it became Navadvip Lila. And then he started to regain external consciousness. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in 3 different states of consciousness. Sometimes he was in external consciousness, sometimes he was in internal consciousness. When he was in internal consciousness, he might be seeing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and he was oblivious to the external world. And the 3rd state of consciousness was something in between the two, where he's a little bit conscious of the external world, but still absorbed. And sometimes Mahaprabhu would fall unconscious, for example, once when he was coming from the beach in Puri. There's a place in Jagannath Puri called Gaur Batsahi. Batsa means area, Sahi means neighborhood, and Batsa was a place to walk. It's a place where it's said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates were walking every day. And it said, Adyapiha Chaitanya Shabalila Kori, he's walking there even today. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was in Puri, when the devotees would come, he would advise them, you should chant your japa early in the morning on the beach. Because if you do so, you may get to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one such morning, Mahaprabhu had taken his bath there, and then he was walking with his associates to the Jagannath Mandir, and suddenly Mahaprabhu saw Govardhan Hill. And he became like a madman. He started calling out, Hantaya Madhura Bala Haridasa Varyo Yad Rama Krishna Charana Spadasa Pramoda Manom Tanoti Sahagogana Yustayoyat Pani Asuya Vasakanda Kanda Mulai. Calling out this verse, which is spoken previously, Raghunath Das Goswami says, in the Bhagavatam by Srimati Radharani. And it's a verse glorifying Govardhan Hill. And he saw the hill known as Chatak Parvat. He went running there, and he fell unconscious. And the devotees were very startled. They weren't expecting this moment of madness. They went running after him. Govinda, his personal servant, was there. Srup Damodar Goswami was there. Roy Ramananda, Gadadhar Pandit was there. And different devotees. Balaramacharya was a little bit lame. He was coming along last behind all the devotees. And when the devotees arrived there on the hill, they found Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laying on the ground unconscious in ecstasy. And Srup Damodar began to fan him, and the devotees were sprinkling water on him, and nothing happened. And then very loudly, all the devotees began to call out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his eyes started to open. And he looked very confused. And he was looking around, and he said, where am I? And he said, where did you bring me? He said, I was there at Govardhan Hill. So this is that condition in between the two. He's still absorbed thinking about the lila that he saw. Mahaprabhu, it's a long story. That particular pastime's another subject matter. But just to give an illustration of this third type of consciousness. So Narahari became like that. And he began to come a little bit to external consciousness, and he began to sob and cry. And the entire night, entire day, he laid there in the dust of Vrindavan in front of the Gopishwar Mahadev temple, just crying and crying. And I don't know, they sent out an email message or something, but all the devotees in Vrindavan, they got the message and they all came there. Because those devotees in Vrindavan, they're not envious. As we were speaking yesterday from the 4th canto, we should act like this. When we meet someone who's more qualified than us, we should feel very happy. And all the devotees in Vrindavan became so happy, and they all gathered around Narahari. And they were so happy, they said, Prema has returned to Vrindavan. And they said, hey Ganesham. These are all older people, because Ganesham was very young at that time. Maybe like your age, I think, I don't know. But all those older people, they were giving him so much respect because he had so much ecstasy. And then suddenly, Narahari, he jumped up and he started leaping up like 6 feet in the air or something and crying out like a madman in that place. And all the devotees felt so happy. You should do like that. Everybody would be very happy. So, this is Gaura Lila that's going on today. And there are many similar stories like this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma in chapter 21, he tells a story about two devotees, Vijay Kumar and his uncle, and how they'd taken initiation from their Gurudev, and that ceremony took place at the Srivasangam. And so at that time they arranged for some boga to be brought for all the devotees, because that's what you do. There's some initiation ceremony. You want to offer something special to the deities when you're getting initiated, and you want to get the blessings of all the devotees. So they arranged for some bogas, some special items to be brought to the deities there at Srivasangam. And Vijay Kumar and Brajanath, and they called for all the different sadhus and Vaishnavas in Navadvip, please come. And they sat there. Everybody was being served out prasadam, and they were sitting there quietly. And the devotees said, you should also take prasad. And he said, no, no, no. The devotees could understand, oh, they're waiting. They don't want to take prasadam before their Gurudev. They want his remnants. And they told their Guru Maharaj, you should tell them they should take. So he told them they should do. And all the devotees were sitting there, taking prasadam, very, very nice prasadam. And then suddenly, all of them there saw a very amazing thing. They saw Sachimata, the mother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, carrying some pots of food stuff. And then they saw Sita Thakurani, the wife of Advaita Acharya, and she was also bringing some foodstuffs. And they saw Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Thakur, coming to that place, and she also was carrying pots of foodstuffs. And then they saw Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, sitting down, and those three ladies, with great love and affection, they began to serve out the prasadam to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so that assembly of devotees, everyone together saw that. It was a really nice prasadam program. They were all sitting together, and some of them had their hands half raised to their mouth with prasadam in their hands, and their hands just became frozen. And everyone was just watching and looking at this pastime and seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being served with so much love by these three ladies. And then the vision disappeared. And then the devotees, they began to cry, and they all embraced each other. And they said, these two, these two devotees, this Braj Kumar and Brajanath, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath, they're very, very special. They've really gotten the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many, many stories are there like this. And this is really the purpose of our movement. Our movement's not meant to just be some religious function. And as we were mentioning last night, I think it was, Srila Prabhupada in one lecture, and I think Hong Kong, he was saying that we're not here to do business. We don't care about your money. You may find that a surprising comment, because our movement is trying to collect so much money, especially to build a very wonderful temple for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. And we encourage people to give money, but that's not our purpose. And Prabhupada said, we don't care about your money. Our purpose is simply we want to help people. We want to make people happy. And we don't care if you become a member, we don't care if you give money. We just want to see that people are happy. That's the purpose of our movement. And that's the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, that he just wanted to help people. He's not interested in money. And Prabhupada said then, he said, Krishna will take care of us. Krishna will take care of us. Krishna will take care of us. And we told that story also last night of Odalomi Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, and how the devotees, he stopped the devotees from going out and doing collection, and just said, you depend on Krishna. This is our purpose. Our purpose is not just to make some religion. It's not necessary. Religion is already there. So many people have their religion, their family religions, and sometimes they can't break out of that. That's fine. Keep that thing. We have a different purpose. We would like that people should actually see the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We would like the devotees actually enter into Gaura lila. In this regard, there's another really nice story. It's on in the Bhakti Ratnakar in chapter 10. And it's describing the famous festival at Kituri Gram, when Janavamata was the Acharya at that time, the wife of Lord Nityananda. And so many devotees came, and they installed deities of Radha and Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Janava Mata, she requested, because she was in charge of things there, she requested Narottam Das Thakur that you do kirtan. And Janava Mata gave a very penetrating look at Narottam for some time. She fixed her glance on him. And Narahari Chakravarti, the same person we spoke about in the last story, who wrote this book, Bhakti-Rat Nakar, he says that by that glance, Ishwari Devi, they used to call Janava Mata, that Ishwari Devi, she was empowering him. This is the potency of the glance of a Vaishnava. If we please the devotees and they give their favorable glance on us, we can become so very, very powerful. So then also Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, he also blessed Narottam Das Thakur. And all the Mahants, all the senior devotees who were present there, they gave permission to begin the Sankirtan. Such a nice etiquette, such a nice thing, such wonderful respect being given to the senior Vaishnavas, and such wonderful thing when the senior Vaishnavas are blessing those younger Vaishnavas. So beautiful. So Narottam Das Thakur, he called for his companions to come. One of them was named Devi Das. And Devi Das played the mridanga. It sounded like thunder coming from the clouds sometimes when he was playing the mridanga drum. He's so wonderfully expert. And he sat on the left side of Narottam Das Thakur. And before that kirtan began, they allowed those instruments to speak, because those instruments are also personalities. And the mridanga made some sounds, and the different instruments that were there, everyone, they began to make some sound of it. Narottam Das Thakur said he looked like the moon surrounded by the stars. And at that time, Kandabasi, Sri Raghunandan Thakur, he came there before the kirtan was starting, and he took some sandalwood paste and some incense, and he worshipped the mridanga, and he worshipped the kartals, because those are personalities. And this is the etiquette in kirtan. And then Narottam Das Thakur began his kirtan. And what did he teach us? How did he begin that kirtan? He began by singing some glorification of Guru. First we offer glorification to Gurudev, and then to the Vaishnavas. You might think the Vaishnavas first and then Gurudev, but no. Gurudev first. Gurudev is my connection with the Vaishnavas. And the Vaishnavas will help me to connect with Gurudev. So first he did kirtan glorifying Gurudev, and then the Vaishnavas, and then he began to glorify Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Radha and Krishna. And this is our system. First Gurudev, then the Vaishnavas, then Mahaprabhu, and then Radha and Krishna. And they began to sing some different pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Janavi Ishwari, the wife of Lord Nityananda, when she heard that kirtan, she became very, very emotional, and she began to cry. And Achyutananda and others there, they lost control of their emotions, and they began to shiver in ecstasy. And that kirtan became so ecstatic and so deeply emotional. The demigods began to shower down flowers from the heavenly planets. And it's said that Narad Muni and many different great sages and saints, they came there in different forms to take part in that kirtan. Srila Prabhupada spoke like this sometimes. What was it, I think, in Conway Hall? Is that what it's called in London? Prabhupada, who did Prabhupada ask Jamuna, was it? Or I don't remember who it was, but Prabhupada asked somebody, did you see Narad Muni last night? Wasn't it?
I think the devotee saying, sorry we couldn't get more people to come. He said, what do you mean?
But Narad Muni, he's come to see, what is Srila Prabhupada doing? Prabhupada, we've heard about kirtan, even with kirtan with Yamaraj and kirtan with the demigods and so many personalities, but we've never heard about kirtan with all the Yavanas and Malechas in Kali Yuga. In London, Prabhupada said Narad Muni personally came. Actually, I recall now Prabhupada, he started calling out Narad Muni Ki Jai or something. In the middle of the kirtan, Prabhupada became very, very ecstatic. And he says that Lord Shiva came, and Lord Brahma came to that kirtan. And all the animals that were present nearby in the forest, they all started coming also. The birds and snakes and different creatures, and all of them were completely charmed by the sound of that kirtan. And then little by little, just like the ocean overflowing its banks, the people who were in that Sankirtan, they forgot about their bodies, they forgot about all their problems, their homes and their children and everything else, and they all took bath in their tears of ecstasy. So who else was listening to that kirtan? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing that kirtan, and he decided to manifest himself there in that place. And then suddenly, all the devotees who were doing that kirtan, they saw an amazing and wonderful thing. There was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing with Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya and all the different devotees. And it seemed as though when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, that his dance was showering love personified throughout the whole world. And Nityananda Prabhu, his dancing, the whole earth began to tremble and shake under the feet of Nityananda Prabhu. And meanwhile, Advaita Acharya, it's very sweet when you see an old man dancing. Advaita Acharya was roaring like a lion and with his hands in the air. And he was dancing like a madman. And Gadadhar Pandit was dancing. And Srivas Pandit, Murari Gupta, Vikeshwar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Gadadhar, Ramananda Roy, Vasudev Dutt, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. They saw all the different devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu present there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loves his devotees so much. And being so moved by that ecstatic kirtan of Narottam Das Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came before them and he embraced Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur. And then all the devotees saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whispered something in their ears. No one knew what he'd whispered. But he gave them some special words. And then suddenly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his associates disappeared. And all the devotees, can you imagine? That kirtan had reached such a height of ecstasy. And then suddenly, they saw Mahaprabhu and his associates, and then just as suddenly, they all disappeared. And then all the devotees present there, they began to cry. And Narahari Chakravarti says the words, Keha kahe kota gela Prabhu Gaura Chandra, Keha kahe kota Shri Advaita Nityananda. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Kota gela Prabhu Gaura Chandra. Where is Gaura Chandra? Where is Advaita? Where is Nityananda? Keha kahe kota Shri Pandita Gadadhar. Keha kahe kota Hari Dasa Bhakteshwar. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He said, Kotai, where is Gadadhar Pandit? Where is Haridas Thakur? Where is Vikeshwar Pandit? Keha kahe kota gela Shri Vasmurari. Keha kahe kota Shri Mukunda Narahari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Where did Srivas Thakur go? Where's Murari Gupta? Where's Mukunda? Where's Narahari? Keha kahe kota Gauri Das Gadadhar. Keha kahe kota Shri Swarup Damodar. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Where's Gauri Das Pandit? Where's Gadadhar Das? Where's Swarup Damodar Goswami? Keha kahe gana sahi Prabhu deka diya. Kota gela boli kande bhumi lotaiya. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And the devotees, they began to roll on the ground. And they began to cry and cry. Dole kande bhumi lotiya. And they said, Prabhu deka diya, Ganasaha Prabhu deka diya. When will we get to see this again? When will we get to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his associates? And everyone was crying so much, the ground became completely muddy. At that place, there were some atheists who gathered there to make fun of the devotees. And when the atheists saw all this, and they also saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees by the mercy of Narottam Das Thakur, those atheists, they also began to cry. This is very good preaching tactic. And so, and this way all the devotees became so very, very ecstatic and so very, very appreciative of Narottam Das Thakur, and they embraced him. That by your mercy, we've gotten to see this kirtan. I've heard a story that at the Chaitanya Mutt in Mayapur, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was staying there one night, maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning, just in the middle of the night, suddenly some of the devotees heard some loud shouting and calling out. And some of the devotees woke up, and one of them came out, and he saw an amazing thing. There was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he was crying and shaking. And Guru Maharaj, is everything okay? And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta could hardly speak, and he said, there, do you see? And the devotees looking. I don't see. You don't see. And by this time, many other devotees had gathered there. And he's saying, you don't see, right there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing. And Advaitacharya and Nityananda and all their associates. And he began to cry and cry. And they say that one of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta got to see that kirtan there too, by the mercy of their Gurudev. So this is the purpose of our movement. We want something practical. It's not just theoretical. This is our desire. We'd like to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Bhajan Rahasya, he's cited one verse from the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, from the prayers of Vitrasura. And he says that this is the prayer that one should recite before they chant japa. Would you like to know the verse number? It's 6th canto, chapter 11, text 26. Ajata paksha hiva mataram kaga stanyam yata vatsatarakshurarta priyam priyeva vyushitam vishana manora vindaksha didrikshite tvam. And the prayer is that, my dear Lord, I want to see you. O lotus-eyed Lord, as baby birds without developed wings, they're ajata paksha. They haven't developed wings yet. Ajata paksha eva mataram kaga. As those little baby birds, they want to see their mothers. Can you imagine how a baby bird must be feeling? High up in a nest, when he has no wings to fly, and his mother hasn't returned. He's very hungry. He misses his mother, and he has no options. He can't go anywhere. That baby bird is hankering so deeply to see his mother. Stanyam yata vatsatarak kshudarta. And just like a baby calf, vatsa, kshudarta, is distressed with hunger. Because that mother cow, she will feed him. She'll nourish him. In that same way I want to see you. And priyam priyeva vyushitam vishana. Just like a wife whose husband went to India and she couldn't go because maybe she was sick or she had to stay back and do some work in the office and she couldn't go. And her husband's gone for 1 month or 2 months and she's crying and hankering in her heart to see him. So Vitrasura says, in the same way, I want to see you. This is the desire of the devotees. Our movement shouldn't be a mechanical movement. Our prayers should not be mechanical prayers. Our prayers are for something practical. We want to see the Lord. And therefore, Madhavendra Puri, at the end of his life, he prayed, Ayid Ayidinadayadranata he Maturanata Kadava Lokya se Hridayan Twada Loka Kataram Dayita Brahmyati Kim Karomyaham. O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved one, what shall I do now? So this is all very nice. And as someone said to me last night, Narendra Maharaj is always saying that we should be compassionate. But it's easy for him to say because he's on that platform. But for us, we're not there. Right? So it's easy, it sounds nice to speak about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, right? Seeing this Gaura lila. The Narahari Chakravarti Thakur is seeing this thing. Narottam Das Thakur is seeing this thing, but they're on another kind of platform than I am. But the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Lila, chapter 10, text 287 states, Mahaprabhu tells Srivas Thakur, Janma Janma Tomara Paile Mora Sangha Toma Sabara Pritye Odekide Moranga Lolo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that Janma Janma Tomara Paile Mora Sangha, that birth after birth you have my association, and not just you. Toma Sabara Britye. Britya means a servant. Your servants, Toma Sabara, all of your servants, Odeki Be Moraranga, even all your servants, they'll see my pastimes. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented, when the Lord performs his pastimes in this world, his associates come with him and engage in his service. Persons who are counted as servants of those associates also receive the opportunity to realize those pastimes of the Lord. Contemplate that. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes here, his associates come with him, and they engage in his service. And people who are servants of those associates, they also get to see those pastimes of the Lord. And that's why in all these stories that we're telling today, a key element is the mercy of the devotees. And therefore, Lord Nityananda, he told Narahari that I wasn't happy before when you came on your own, but now when your Gurudev is bringing you, now I'm very happy with you. Now you can enter into this assembly. I'd like to finish by reading another statement from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. This is from his Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Lila, chapter 13, text 69. It's so nice. If you don't mind, I'll read the Bengali. He says, Prapanche Srinavadvipe Dame Jagai Madai Udara Lila Srimad Bhagavatadi Purane Likita Purva Kalera Ajamila Upakyanera Nyaya Kebala Shastriya Akanamatra Nahi Kimba Vavaharika Jagate O Bhuta Kalera Gata Nama Matra Nahi. Parastu iha Vartaman Kali O Sri Chaitanya Lilaya Deki te Payoya Jai. He said that the pastime of Jagai and Madai being delivered, Jagai and Madai Udara Lila, it's not just some pastime, just some description given in the Shastra, like the pastime, Srimad Bhagavatadi Purani Likita Purva Kalera Ajamil Upakanyara, the pastime of Ajamil being liberated. Nor is it just some past incident. He says, Nyaya Kebala Shastriya, Kimba Vyavaharika Jagate. It's not just some Vyavaharika, some common pastime in the material world. He says, but these pastimes are found Bhartaman Kali. Bhartaman means now. Bhartaman Kali, O Sri Chaitanya Lilayar Deki Te Payoga Jai. They're seen even now. in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, as we began speaking, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote in his purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 11, text 89, he says that anyone is a Nitya Siddha if he acts on behalf of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by spreading the glories of the holy name of the Lord. We should respect those devotees preaching the glories of the Lord as Nitya Siddha and should not consider them conditioned. Now this doesn't mean that all of a sudden now there's some new category of Jiva souls and the Nitya Buddha Jiva has become a Nitya Siddha. We shouldn't become confused like that. But he's speaking in a different sense, that because these pastimes are going on right now. And if you're taking part in these pastimes, if you're in these leelas, you're a liberated soul. And you're just the same as a Nitya Siddha. You've entered into Gaura Lila. And how do we enter into that Gaura Lila? We do that by assisting the servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu says, my servants will always see these pastimes. And their servants will also see, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says. For those devotees who are eager, who are crying out in their heart, Ajata Paksha Iva Mataram Kaga, like that baby bird who doesn't have any developed wings yet, who's really crying from the heart. This is our movement. This is what Srila Prabhupada came to teach us, how to cry out to the Lord in such a way that the Lord will personally come before the devotees. Srila Prabhupada came, and usually Gaudiya Vaishnavas, their sadhana that they engaged the devotees in was chanting the holy names, same kind of sadhana that we have. But they didn't generally engage the devotees in the activities of preaching. That preaching activity was considered to be for very elevated and special devotees. But Srila Prabhupada came and he gave this preaching activity as like part of our sadhana. And we may not be qualified for that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that when, in a humble heart, will I go out, Kabhi Habhi, when will that day come when I go out in a humble mood and I preach the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? When I really feel something, some compassion for all the living entities. We may not be on that platform. But Srila Prabhupada, understanding this principle, that it's such a very extremely powerful thing to assist the servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are spreading this movement, that if we assist their endeavors of preaching and spreading this movement, then you get the glance of Lord Nityananda. You'll get the glance of Janava Ishwari, like Narottam Das Thakur did. We'll get the glance of those great devotees, and you'll be entering right into that movement. And you become, as Srila Prabhupada said, a Nitya Siddha, entering into Gaura Lila now, because Adyapiya Chaitanya Shabalila Kori, Jakoni Jahari Kori, Drishti Adhikari. Gaura Lila is going on right now, even in this place. This is our movement. It's something very, very practical, very, very special, that we can all experience and realize. Pratyak Savagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartamavayam. It's meant to be practically realized, and realizing that makes someone so very, very happy. So thank you all very much for letting us come here. I feel very shy coming with Naranjan Maharaj, and when he should be speaking, and I'm sitting in front of him, but I'm also very appreciative of him for something, because especially beginning today, the last few days, I'm beginning to see what a wonderful community you have here, and how it's such a big family. You have so many families working together in such a wonderful mood for Srila Prabhupada, and so much devotion for the deities and things, and that's a great gift. And Maharaj, I want to thank you very much for bringing us here and letting us see that. That's his blessing on us. So thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhakta Binda ki, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Do we have time for a couple questions or reflections?
That's not good. You have to ask the secondary ones.
Whatever Maharaj says.
I just said he has to ask the secondary.
We can go on your schedule. I would say yes if it's acceptable to you, Maharaj.
Maybe one or two. This is a couple. If anybody has anything burning, they want to, any burning reflection, we like that. Because Paraspara Nikataram, Prabhuji.
A nice little story. You were mentioning how Srila Prabhupada was saying we're not after money. We don't need your money. We just want to make money. Of course, people are always concerned about money. And one time some reporters were interviewing Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and he was explaining what he was going to do, how he was going to expand the Gaudiya Math and so forth. So they were a little surprised. And finally they asked, well, Maharaj, where are you going to get the money to do all these things? You know, he was in Mayapur, a very poor place and so forth. He said, I will take one brick from Vaikuntha, and that should be sufficient.
I'll take one brick from Vaikuntha. Okay. Anything else is there? And Ranjan Maharaj, you want to add anything then? Okay.
Another little thing.
Okay.
I was with Dinabandhu Prabhu, and he was explaining that generally speaking our understanding of Sampradaya means disciplic succession.
Mm-hmm.
But he said there's another definition to that. It means inheritance.
Uh-huh.
It's like a parent, they're always concerned about their children, and they often put money aside, or they send their kids to education, and they finance, and they're concerned, they assist them in their marriage. So he said the acharyas, they do the same thing. They give us their inheritance. They leave so much behind for us to be able to receive, and they're guiding us, inspiring us. Like Prabhupada said, just fanning the flame, fan. So he said that is also what Sampradaya means. It's something that the disciples, those who take to it, inherit in the process.
Prabhuji, what is your name?
Eon.
Eon. Did I say it right? Eon?
Eon.
Aeon.
Yes.
Okay, Aeon. So Aeon, I think everybody should bless Aeon. And you should inherit the blessings of all the devotees. And you should become like Narahari Chakravarti. And everybody will become very, very happy to see that. Is that okay? Gaura Prabhu, last thing.
Saraswati was at the Chaitanya Mat when he saw Chaitanya Mat dancing. Chaitanya Mat, is that Yoga Pit? Same thing?
Chaitanya Mat is, no. Chaitanya Mat is, that's where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Samadhi is.
Okay. Where all the beautiful rose gardens.
Yeah, Radhakund and Shamakund,
Right.
Govardhan Hill, and all right there.
Okay. And I was trying to understand, of course, Narottam Das Thakur can do anything, but I was just wondering, those atheists that were there, you were saying by Narottam Das Thakur's mercy, they could also see the Panchatattva and so many associates. So I'm just trying to understand, because they're completely covered over.
There's also demons during Krishna Lila who got to see Krishna.
Uh-huh.
And Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says there's also Bhava Bas. Someone may get some emotions or something by the mercy of the devotee, just temporarily. Even they may get to see the Lord. Temporarily. I would also hazard to say that it must have been a life-changing experience for those atheists. There's no mention different.
Actually, I just answered my own question, I think, because I remember hearing at the airport on one occasion where some policemen were like not treating the devotees so nicely as they were getting ready to receive Srila Prabhupada. As soon as Prabhupada walked in the airport, then immediately the policemen just had a complete, not just change of heart, but just they were just amazed by Prabhupada's presence, and they started, guiding the crowds. Okay, stand back, make way for him. They completely got into service attitude. They became transformed in the presence of Prabhupada. I don't know if that's exactly right.
Yeah, I think it's similar. They had Prabhupada's darshan. It means that they could see, because what does it mean to see? It means when we appreciate. We have some appreciation for them. They had some appreciation, at least temporarily.
He said that faith means appreciation. There was one definition he gave. When
faith means appreciation.
When people see the Harinam party going across the street, that's interesting. That's the beginning. That's Adav Shraddha. It's some appreciation.
Mataji?
Chaitanya Mangala Lochandas, he says that in this Kali Yuga, this is the only Kali Yuga where Lord Chaitanya has appeared in his full potency, and we are very fortunate for that, because in previous Kali Yugas he appeared in his Narayan form. So how fortunate we are to be in this Kali Yuga where Lord Chaitanya actually appeared in his full potency.
And those pastimes, if it's really spiritual, the pastimes never end. How can you say that he's God, but he's no longer active? If he's God, by definition, the pastimes are still going on. And this is our disciplic succession. This is our inheritance, that we can enter into that.
So Papa coming on the boat on Jalduta is also Gaura Lila.
Yeah, wow. Big time Gaura Lila. Okay. Maharaj, do you have time for a little kirtan?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe we should offer some sandalwood paste for the incense of the Mridangam kartals first. Srila Prabhupada ki.